You're listening to the BowHunterPlanet podcast, your gateway to the wonderful world of archery.
Hey guys, welcome to the BowHunterPlanet.com official bear archery launch video. Very excited about this. You guys can watch it right here exclusively on Carbon TV and or listen to the audio podcast wherever you get your podcast. So we're here with Ryan Schutz from Bear Archery, and this has kind of become an annual thing for us, Ryan. I mean, I feel like every year we're back in this spot launching bear bows, but this year there's something cool for people to see. A lot of interesting things from Bear and a lot of major changes in my opinion. So I guess let me just say to Tim real quick. Tim, you got any comments you want to make before we begin this adventure here?
No, I appreciate it. It is kind of one of my favorite podcasts of the year. It does feel like we just did this not that long ago, but that's because it sticks in my memory because I love getting online here with Ryan and talking about the new stuff that's coming out with Bear. We always love new launches, and this season is not going to disappoint from Bear. So I can't wait to get into the details here.
All right, Ryan, take us through it, my friend.
Well, as always, I appreciate you guys letting me be here. So I want to say last year we launched like 7 new bows, which was really exciting, very busy year. This year it's 5 new bows, which feels every bit as busy to me as 7. So it's good. I'm going to start with our flagship. So this is definitely our baby. This bow has been in the making for a while, especially components of this bow have been in making for a while. So it's a lot of new for Bear, so that always makes us exciting. So it is called the Execute 32, and it has our EKO cam, but there's a lot of revisions on the cam that I'm going to hit here in a second. We also are launching an Execute 30. So the difference there is the axle to axle. So I'm going to talk about both of them kind of in the same breath because they are the same bow. Obviously, there's just a little bit different. If there's kind of been a trend lately where a lot of guys definitely like the 32-inch, but then there's a large group of people that also like 30-inch axle bow. I'm a shorter archer, so I kind of prefer a shorter bow, but everybody has their preferences. But kind of start at the top of the bow. So it is our EKO cam, but this is now, I believe, our 3rd year of this cam. So we basically started almost threw the cam out and started over again, trying to make sure that we really wanted to have a better valley than we had before. We wanted to have more consistent on the let off, because of course what makes our cams great, in my opinion, would be that, we want them completely adjustable, right? So this bow hits some of the specs, still has your normal let off of 75, 80, 85, 90 that you can set on the cam. Your draw length range on the 32-inch bow goes from 26.5 to 30.5. So, pretty big range. And then the 30-inch axle to axle bow is just a little bit different, to where it'll go down to 26 inches out to 30 inches, but you still get that great let off adjustment. And we wanted to make it even easier. So now we've started to make laser markings on both sides of the cam. So if you're kind of a bow tech nerd, like some of us are, it just makes it so much simpler where you don't have to look back and forth on it. It's a small thing, but when you're into that thing,
it's the little things that count. Yeah,
it's the little things that count. We also think everybody that draws these will love the valley. I mean, yes, it's still our EKO cam, and we do think that's a good cam that we put on a lot of bows, but without a doubt, this one feels so different that we've had some early comments on same cam, like, oh yeah, like that's fast like the other cam. So it's 340 speed, so didn't sacrifice any speed whatsoever. And then the brace height is 6.5 inches. So the balance is really good when you kind of hear the specs. But to get into what makes the balance so good, so we made this a much more laid down limb bow than Bear traditionally has. So it used to be, you used to say parallel and pass parallel and all that fun stuff. So we definitely tried to do that on this bow. More so, it's the most aggressive bow that Bear has manufactured when it comes to that, which I think everyone will love how that performs, especially when you start to shoot this in like ground blind situations and things like that. It just balances really well. Also with that, we changed our vibration system. Again, kind of how you guys are joking with me, how we seem to say the same thing. I think this is the third year in a row we've changed our vibration system on the flagship bows. But we keep saying it's better and better, and that's obviously what we're going for. So we changed how we basically everything about it. We changed the material that we used inside, so it's a different synthetic blend than we'd used before, and we're seeing just great results with it. We've also changed kind of the placement so it bounces a little bit better. Still kept one on the string stop as well, so the shot through this is just completely dead in your hand. We also changed our roller guard system some. It's still the roller guard still works about the same way, except we allowed you to be able to make some micro adjustments to it if you really wanted to. And then also just the stability of it took a little bit of weight out of that, which we were pretty excited about. But also, so the big thing on this is the bow is just going to bounce better because it's wider. So we went to a wider limb than we've had before. So we're really excited about that. So a wider limb, wider pocket, and then the riser has became just a little bit wider as well. So sounds like, oh no, we made it wider and it's heavier. It's definitely not heavier than our bows in the past. The balance is just so much better, adding that stability with some of the width in there. Wouldn't be bare if we didn't throw something in with a little bit different grip than we have in the past. So it's our Grizz grip of last year, but we added soft touch coating to it. What we did is some of the soft touch stuff that Trophy Ridge does, another company we're closely related to, of course. So we took that and we did a ton of testing on this. Just what it does is it helps it. We wanted it to grip your hand, but we didn't want it so much that it would have you torque more, if you know what I mean, right? So we still wanted it to be slick enough that it's not going to cause any imperfections in your shot or amplify any imperfections in your shot, but kind of help it sit a little bit better, especially when you're whitetail hunting and it's still hot, or you're elk hunting and it's still hot, things like that everybody talks about, but still not a very big grip either. Now we're still offering within this bow the slimmer grip, so guys that like to have less contact with the bow, which is fine also, that comes with this bow. So we're pretty excited. It also comes with the limb stop. I'm a big pull through shooter, so you still have that option as well. So really, we tried to stay with kind of what got us here is we want you to be able to adjust this bow if you're a pull through shooter. If you're not, if you like high let off or you like low let off, you can adjust that. And then if you like a longer axle bow or shorter axle bow, we tried to make sure that we were able to give you everything you wanted here.
I guess which one do you think will do better, the 30 or the 32, if you had to guess? Like, do people usually generally go for a little bit longer, or
we're torn on which one we think will do better. I mean, I'm being 100% honest. We see it trend like sometimes in the Western markets and stuff, and it's especially with tack and so many popular things and shooting further. I mean, there can be some benefit to a longer axle bow, so more forgiveness there if you're making some errors in your shot, so to say, versus a shorter bow. But then you got the flip side, where a lot of whitetail hunters like stuff that's easy maneuverable, or you get just it fits you better, so to say. So we still, it just feels almost like a trend, right? Where some people, short bows were the trend probably 3 or 4 years ago. It seems like we're starting to even out in that 32-inch range. So I think they'll both do really well. I like the 30-inch, but I've always kind of liked the shorter axle. But then you go to these tack events or things like that, and all of those, they like longer bows, 32, 33-inch.
Yeah. I feel like people tend to navigate towards the 32. And actually, I think I did the averages from the past, all the different bow brands, all the different things. And I think 32 was the average axle. But preferably, I agree with you. I prefer to the 30 in the size, because again, being a major tree stand bow hunter and ground blind bow hunter, to me, it's better to have a little smaller size. But again, people, sometimes it comes to like offsetting weights, and people, they want longer bow because it's more, in their opinions, more stable for them. But either way, I think it'll do great. Now, I actually got to shoot this bow. I got to shoot the 32, and I thought it was excellent shooting bow. This was a well done design. You guys sent it to me in the mossy oak original. It looks like it looked so sweet, so cool. So let's talk about this bow in the sense of where it stands. So this would be technically, I guess, at $11.99 MSRP. This is going to be, I would say, in the higher end market, not the premium market, meaning like carbon, but in the high end market, with pretty much all of your peers realistically, because I think you guys are one of the only ones to not have a $1,200 bow last year and a couple years before. So what this actually means for Bear now is you kind of touch every aspect except for the carbon market realistically and price points.
Yep, you're 100% right. When it comes to the line, this is definitely how we're trying to step up our game. I mean, premium parts, things like that on there. So, it's that $1,100 price point. Now we still will have in our line the refine from last year. So we, Bear's goal kind of always, and I've said this before on this exact podcast, Fred Bear wanted archery open for everybody, right? So we want to make sure that we kind of are covering it for everyone best we can. And now we feel like we definitely have that product to be at that premium level to cover that. And then of course, as we continue on this, we have bows at all the other price points as well, at 900, 7, 5, all the way down to 400. And even a little less in the youth introduction market. So we want to make sure no matter what price point you're able to spend, we've got a Bear bow for you.
Yeah, so I think it's an important one because again, this is a category area where you guys have not been in necessarily in this price point. So I'm very excited to see the consumer reaction to it when they shoot it themselves. Again, I shot it. I felt like, man, this thing is really wicked, right? It's a nice bow. And with those fatter limbs and the pocket looks sweet, this all new pocket on it, which you and I had talked before, it looks a little bit like the Perception, but it's definitely not. I did do a comparison. I looked at them both side by side. I could see there was a differences, but I love the idea of the way it looks. I paired up with that mossy oak camo. It looked unbelievable. So is that bow going to be then? Is that what you guys added this year, was mossy oak to those as far as color?
We did. We actually, there's a couple new colors. We offered a new stone color, which we think looks really good. So it's a solid color. It's kind of like, I'm going to call it kind of like an off gray, one of those more popular kind of off colors that you're seeing on the market now. And then it's also available in olive, and then our throwback black and tan, where you've got like the Fred Bear lens and then the tan or the black riser. And then this bow is offered in 2 mossy oak patterns. So the bottomland that you have, and then also the DNA, and then of course we have it in the Fred Bear camo. Wouldn't be us without offering that, and as well as Bell White, as well as Bell Whitetail.
That's awesome. All right, well, that's the Execute 3032. So you guys can see, I put clips in it in this video, so if you guys are watching, you just saw parts of the bow itself as we went here. So Ryan, let's move on, I guess, now, unless there's anything else you want to talk about with that bow. Are you good?
Nope, I'm good. Just
right,
kind of add on to what you said would be, I urge everyone to try to shoot this bow. This bow it's hard to explain how great this bow is. It's one of those that you really need to experience it, and give it a chance. It's so smooth, and like you had just said, it's so dead in your hand. It's like surprisingly dead in your hand.
All right, Legend XR. Let's talk about this baby at $459.99 MSRP Bear bow, or $559.99 ready to hunt package.
Yes. So that's next up in our new Legend series lineup. So this bow is super adjustable. So it is a great shooting bow. It features a new cam for us. So it's right there in the name. So it's our XR cam. So it's a hybrid cam system with a huge amount of adjustment. So the specs on this are, the speed is 320, axle to axle is 32, which we just kind of talked at length how we feel that's kind of the sweet spot for most archers. Brace height is 6 1/4. The draw length adjustment in this bow is 18 to 31, so should fit almost everybody, including a large amount of of youth, so to say. And then draw weight is 14 to 70. So, and then the other really impressive spec on this is it's a straight 85% let off. So a lot of bows, when you get into that huge adjustment range, you're talking more of your let off being in that 75, 80. So you don't get a lot of them having high let off, but there's still there was definitely a demand for people wanting that higher let off, you know, just kind of like the executes we just showed, but with something that they can grow with, right? So when they're starting at like a 22-inch draw as they're growing, and then end up, you know, something at like 26 or 28, that you would still then have your let off would be that 85%. So some other great specs on this bow. So all that's done on the cam, pretty easy to adjust. Being that hybrid cam, the rollover on this cam feels really, really well. So it's really smooth. So when we produced a bow like this that we wanted to be able to fit just about everybody, we like that cam system to be very smooth. So that way, if you are wanting it to grow with you, and I just make it up, you know, you're 28 inches new into archery, but you can't pull 60 or 70 pounds yet, and you want to put this down to 40 or 45, it's a really smooth cam system. So you can start to grow and get stronger and be able to bump that up quickly without, you know, the jerkiness of a cam system that might not be as smooth. And then also the package, which I think is the way to get this bow at that $559 price point. All Trophy Ridge accessories on this. You get our V-biscuit. You're getting a good sight. We did come out with, on our RTHs this year, a new stabilizer. It's just a little bit shorter, really balances the package out a little bit. So we're pretty excited about those enhancements that we made to the RTH as well. This bow is also offered in quite a few different colors. So in the bow only, you can get the whitetail, you can get the Fredbear camo, the bottomlands, and then the throwback green and the olive, and then also our stone color, the new stone color for us, we're kind of keeping a little bit exclusive. So it's not offered in all our complete bow line, but it is in the Legend and the Execute. And then when you get into the RTH world, you can get it in the Veil Whitetail, the olive, and then I think last year we introduced, might have been on this podcast too, our Inspire color, which has blue accents with a black riser, which became very popular. So it allows you kind of color theme the bow a little bit, almost a custom look without having to pay the custom price. And then the stone in that as well.
Very cool. I love what you said there too about the adjustability, because, you know, a lot of time people think, oh, adjustability with the draw length, and yeah, you know, I can buy it for my kid and grow, and my kid can grow into it. But I love what you said, because it's not just about a kid growing up into it. It's about an adult too. And like you said, starting off at a lower poundage and being able to work your way up to a much higher poundage, or vice versa. I mean, as we get older, at least I've realized, you know, you can't do all the things that you used to do. So maybe you started off at 70 pounds and now you need to take it back down a little bit, right? So I love how you frame that, because I don't think a lot of people think about adjustability and growing, that growing with you as you go along, type of mentality of you know, everything that you're talking about with adjustability, which is awesome. You know, and that's what one thing I've always loved about Bear is anybody that asks me, you know, Bear has always been my first choice to look at, because you can find a bow literally for anybody within your lineup. And that bow, I mean, they can fit anybody.
And yep, thanks for those calls.
Hey, and welcome to BowHunterPlanet.com podcast. Thank you so much for your support and watching this show here on Carbon TV, or listening to it wherever you get your podcast. I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsors who help us bring this show to you guys and keep it interesting and fun. I want to thank Tinks, Cat Work Truck, Camp Chef, Cobra Archery, HHA and HHA USA, Mojack, Thorn Broadheads, Victory Archery, Burris, Reveal Trail Cams, Apex Competitions, Heat Hog, Deer Camp Coffee, and Under Armour. Make sure you check out and log on and sign up on the BowHunterPlanet.com brand new website. It is simple, it is awesome, and it's a great place to chat bow hunting and archery with a whole bunch of like-minded people. So we'll see you soon, and now back to the show.
Because that's what we tried to do. So the legit bow has been very, very, very successful for us the last few years, and we're getting a lot of requests on how do you improve on that? How do you make it a little better? And this is our answer to that, with a little bit more performance, and that very, very close to the same type of cam, but a more performance hybrid type cam.
Very cool.
You know what? The thing about this bow, Ryan, my only issue with this bow is I feel like this bow is like an industry breaker. I don't know what the word is I'm trying to find, but this bow is a problem because it is so nice. Like I'm not saying that. I'm not just saying that because you're on the show with me. I swear it. I shot this bow and I was like, this is like one of the smoothest bows I've ever shot. And at this price, I'm like, it kind of jaw dropped. And that's why I said, like, it's kind of like an industry breaker because it messes up the whole idea. You guys spend a ton of money to get a smooth bow. I honestly don't know how you guys did this with this cam, but it is literally one of the smoothest bows I've ever shot in the show. And I was like, I'm watching the video while we're talking, just reliving the moment when I shot it. And I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And
so literally what we're going for is we want people to be like, I couldn't draw this other bow back and I can draw this bow back because the cam is so smooth. That was the goal.
I mean, I just hope that you guys see how awesome the cam is, because I hope it shows itself again going forward on other stuff, because this is like a breakthrough in my opinion. Because I mean, especially at the price, like I said, people having that ability with what you guys offer. And the funny part to me is that this is just one of a lineup of bows that have this type of,
right.
We're going to talk about the adapt soon, but this is just one of that ability to do this. And this is what I love about Bear. This is what I've really honed in on with you guys over the years. I'm learning more and more, is just that you guys are just that market leader when it comes to getting people shooting bows. We talk every year. In fact, the Golden Arrow Awards just finished up. And again, I had to give you guys the Heritage Award because there's no way I can't. It's like you always have bows that fit everybody across the spectrum. That's always getting people out enjoying the heritage of archery. I mean, it's literally, and this is a great example of that. People are going to be able to go buy a bad, I want to say ASS bow, for under $500. I mean, honestly, it's crazy to me. And now that I know this, like if I ever quit BHP tomorrow, like I would go and be able to get one of these bows at this. It's just unbelievable to me. Honestly, it's awesome, man. Great job.
Thanks. Yeah, we're very excited about this one. We're very excited about the execute, just because we got to put so many new components on it. When you're a geek into this stuff, that's the stuff to get you pretty excited. But this bow just will fit everyone and shoot so well. So we're very excited about it.
All right, so we're gonna move on from this one, but again, this is another one. Like I said, you guys gotta get in the store, shoot it, get a feel for it yourself. But like I said, this is one I will tell you right now, you're gonna love the draw cycle. It is one of the best ones, and it is a very nice bow. Now I haven't shot the adapt yet. We're gonna talk about that next. This bow will be the same price as a Legend XR at $459.99. Bear bow, same thing, ready to hunt package around $560. But the adapt will have I don't know if the bow's different as far as the riser goes, but I know it has a single cam. So let's talk about that one.
So it's very similar. So the speed is 320. Its axle to axle is 32 inches. So very close to the Legend XR. The brace height is a little bit longer. It's 6.5. The adjustability is different on this bow. So you would get it in a 45 to 60 set of limbs or 55 to 70, and then your draw length is 24 to 31, which is still really good. So that's 7 inches of adjustment on it, but it is a single cam, so it's 80% let off. And this is one that we co-branded with, and this is the Adapt Hunting Public is what we call this bow. So the Hunting Public really helped us design this bow and kind of gave us the specs and features that they wanted to see on it. So they're the reason behind this single cam, which Bear, we've continued to do multiple single cams for years, but they wanted it kind of sound like a broken record, something very, very smooth. And those guys have done a great job of, like, they're the type of hunter that you never know. They might be drawing this bow back on 1 foot one day, or on, balancing them themselves a different way. I mean, those guys are just able to, they wanted something smooth, so no matter what, they'd be able to draw and make the shots that they needed to. So that's what we were trying to tackle on this bow. So on this single cam, we do include a limb stop. So that way, what the goal for that would be is, so let's just say you do draw in an awkward situation. Maybe you're crouching, but then you still have to lean around a tree or something, right? Well, when you can pull back and have that hard back wall, you know you've always got that cam engaged like it's supposed to be. There should be no creep, right? And even on a single cam, when you do start to creep a little bit, it shouldn't be as violent as some of the faster bows, so to say, that they could be. So we really wanted to give you the best of both worlds there. So that's why we went with the single cam on this bow, plus with that limb stop. So you're getting some high-end features on the single cam. The other thing that we did new this year on this bow is we added a new grip. We call it the bear paw grip. Currently, the only bow that comes with that grip is this bow, the Adapt. And so it does mimic the Grizz grip that we do on the high-end bow. It has a little bit bigger palm swell. I'm still careful with that because by no means is this a bigger grip like in the 90s or early 2000s. It's still a pretty small grip, but it just fits that palm just about perfectly, which is something that was important to the hunting public and us, that the bow feels really well when you're holding it. Again, having that good positive grips allow you to shoot this in all kinds of different hunting scenarios. The bow only, we did launch in July. So some people will be like, oh, the bow's already out. The bow only launched in July. The package of this bow launches now in October. And the package, you can get it in our throwback tan, which is the tan with the Fredbear camo. You can also get it in Veil, Whitetail, and then True Timber Strata in a solid olive color as well. And then it has that RTH package I kind of went over before. So all trophy ridge accessories, quiver, sight, rest, and then also on this bow, which Bear, we have partnered with Onyx Maps before, like on the legit. So we've also partnered with them on the Adapt bow. So you get a 3-month premium membership when you buy an Adapt, which is pretty cool too.
Oh, cool.
It's really cool. Yeah,
that's a good app. I mean, I use it myself, track tree stands and all that kind of stuff. So it's a great value that you guys are adding there for sure.
And one more thing I'll add on the grip. So the way we did that grip is if you don't like that bigger grip at all, the grip removes and then you can still shoot it right off the bow. So we have it machined and finished that way. So you can, if you want a really, really slim grip, then you take that grip off. If you want just a little bit bigger grip, a little bit different feel, you leave it on. So we're really letting the consumer decide how they want to do that.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, I like the idea of it. I love the single cam concept that you guys are going to do with it. And I bet you, I haven't shot it yet, but again, I know it's going to be super smooth. And I'm sure to me, a bow like that is great. I actually love the idea that the hunting public's involved with that bow, because being a public, hunting in public lands and stuff, it's really hard to get in and out. But it's also, I like the idea, the feel of the concept of, they don't want anything too expensive. They want something people can afford. Like, I just love that part of it. I think it's a really good mix for that type of hunting. I just love it.
I'll add too on that grip. So we really, as we started to develop this grip, it also has the soft touch coating on it that I had brought up on the Execute bow. So it feels great in your hand. But we made sure that we made some adapters that go with this grip as well. So we'll end up selling the grip by itself. But as we talked about before, so this grip, if a guy really likes it, it'll be able to fit our Alaskan model, our Resurgence, our Legit, our Legend XR, the Whitetail Pro, our Species. So it fits a lot of our other bows. So kind of what we tried to do there is allow some of these, $500, $400 bows to have a custom grip feel now if you want them to.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that you could swap them like that. I think that's really neat. Now, the Execute, that comes with 2 grips?
Yep, the Execute comes with two. It'll come with that Grizz grip on it with the soft touch, and then it comes with a much slimmer grip, basically the exact same size as the bow riser. So if you like to have a lot less contact.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so that's the Adapt. Moving on to the G3 Cruiser. The G2 been one of the biggest bows probably ever in the industry. So the G3, that's like just makes complete sense to move it into the next number. So tell us about the G3.
So that's exactly what we tried to do was a lot of people just say, oh, I shoot a cruiser. And so you're like, so the cruiser or the Cruiser G2? And now I guess we'll have to know if it's the Cruiser G3 or not, right? So what we did there is it was time to update that cam. So you probably got a feel that we really attacked the cams this year at Bear. So I've talked about a lot of new cams and adjustments to our cams this year. So what we did there, this is just your standard dual cam, but we tweaked it in a couple different ways. So the speed now is 315. The axle of this bow is 30-inch. So this is a pretty short bow. Brace size is 6.5, and your draw weight very adjustable from 10 to 70, and then 14 to 30 inches in the draw length. The let off is 75. So the G2 was 70. We've now increased it to a 75. By doing that, the cam just feels that much. It feels a lot better. The let off is definitely more noticeable. I know it's only 5%, but it's definitely noticeable throughout the range of the draw length and weight, which was important to us. So that way the bow's still really feeling good, especially when you get new archers involved with this bow, right? So you got your kiddo shooting for the first time at 18 inches. We want it to feel really, really good. So we made sure that it worked well in all our draw lengths across the board. Also, then cosmetically, what we kind of did, this has a solid color riser with camo lens. On the other bows, we tend to do the opposite. So now we're trying to give you a little bit different look than we've did in the past with some pretty, this one has a lot of fun colors. So of course it still has Fred Bear camo and then True Timber Strata and DNA. But on top of that, it has Wildfire that has a bunch of like red and orange accents, and Toxic that has some green and black accents, and Muddy Girl that has some pink and kind of purple accents. So you can really kind of customize the bow however you want. This is also in our RTH package. So this bow comes with a whisker biscuit, a trophy ridge sight, quiver, stabilizer, all ready to go right at purchase. So we're really excited about this bow. This bow has been great for Bear because it gets you into archery without a huge price point. And then one thing like I really like about this bow and balance is it is an extremely lightweight bow. And it has been for a long time, which we think is why people kind of gravitate to it. I mean, it's under 3.5 pounds. It is super light.
Yes, I actually talk about that in the video. I just said
Okay,
like,
good.
because it's interesting, because like I just think like you could easily buy this bow and hunt with it, no problem. Like Kevin killed the deer with that G2 Cruiser.
Oh, you
His
definitely
first
can.
buck. It'd be like saving a ton of money. It'd also be at the same time having one of the lightest bows in the industry. Small, compact. I mean, really. So I was thinking about that. I'm like, wow, that's an interesting concept, for people who don't really want all the bells and whistles, but want something small, compact, good price that actually does the job very smoothly. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's
No,
not a bad idea, Tim. Get
I
going.
don't think you'd ever get fatigued carrying this around the mountain. It's pretty light.
It's tiny. I mean, I can't imagine. I wish you guys had a tally for how many kids you guys got in archery because of that bow. That'd be awesome to hear.
Yeah, that's a great question.
It's unbelievable. And
Yeah.
now, was there a G1 Cruiser before, or just a Cruiser in the originally?
It was just a cruiser originally. And we actually had a cruiser and a cruiser light, so a little bit smaller type bow. The Royale kind of has taken its place.
I don't know how much smaller you can possibly get. It's so tiny.
No, I don't. Yeah, we're gonna have a hard time getting much smaller than this.
No doubt. Now, are any of the models that we talked about tonight, like dealer only, or can you buy them all on your website?
Nope. So the first two I talked about, or first three technically. So they Execute 30 and 32 and Legend XR are only available at dealers.
Good deal.
And
I like to hear that.
Yep. So definitely go to a local dealer to check those bows out. But then the Adapt and the Cruiser G3 they'll be available everywhere. So you'd be able to go to our website and find out more information and be able to purchase there or wherever archery is sold in beer areas.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Well, Ryan, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you coming on and doing this again and showing us the 2023 stuff, which is hard to believe we're already in 23. I feel like we just did this for like 2020, you know? It's crazy.
Time flies for sure.
No, I appreciate you having me on here. We're really excited. We're glad that we can keep entering new bows into the market each year. So it's fun.
Very exciting. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you had a fun day today with Bear Archery's launch. Go to BowHunterPlanet.com to learn more about these bows. We'll have Ryan on soon to talk about Trophy Ridge and other brands, the traditional stuff like that as we go. But we're going to start with this one today. So, Ryan, thanks a lot, man. And we'll see you next time on the BowHunterPlanet podcast.
The BowHunterPlanet podcast would like to thank our outdoor partners for their support. It's because of these companies we can keep this show educating, entertaining, and growing the archery heritage.